Hello there, high level listeners. Welcome to episode 19 of our advanced English podcast at High Level Listening. Today's episode is all about sharing our vacation stories. So if you've recently taken a vacation, or if you want to tell somebody about your past vacations, this is the episode for you. We'll be diving into some useful phrases and vocabulary in both American and British English that are perfect for recounting your travels to friends or coworkers. I'm Kat, the American English voice here on High Level Listening. I'll share my vacation story using phrases and expressions that are commonly used in the US.
And my name's Mark. I'm the British voice here on High Level Listening. So I'll tell you the story of my holiday using more British expressions and vocabulary.
Don't forget, for our high-level listener members who want to follow along with every word, we offer members-only PDF transcripts. Just check out the memberships tabs on our YouTube page to join, and then you can download almost 19 episodes now.
So this time, we'll both tell you about our recent vacations or holidays, and we'll focus on what happened when we arrived, what we did, and we'll also talk about any small problems that we faced along the way. So this episode should be full of lots of good vocabulary and phrases to help you talk about your own holiday experiences in English, including the good and not so good bits.
After we share our stories, we'll break down the key phrases and expressions so you can use them to talk about your own vacation experiences. We're excited to hear your stories in the comments below. We love seeing your messages and we reply to every single one.
Okay, well, let's get started. I'll ask Kat the question first. How was your vacation?
Where to begin? It was so much fun. I wish I was still there. Now, my trip did start with a bit of drama at the airport. Our flight was delayed due to some unexpected maintenance issues. But once we finally took off, it was smooth sailing from there. We had a packed itinerary, but the highlight was definitely the guided city tour. The local guide was amazing and really brought the city's history to life. We also tried paddleboarding for the first time, which was a blast. Most days were spent lounging by the beach, just soaking up the sun. We did have a small hiccup with our hotel room. The AC wasn't working, but they sorted that out pretty quickly, and the rest of the stay was perfect. Okay, so now that I've shown you my American side, let's ask Mark the same question. He's going to be talking about his holiday. So let me ask him, how was your holiday, Mark?
My recent trip was absolute heaven. That said, we got off to a bit of a rough start at the airport. We had to sit on the runway for a bit because of some traffic, but once we finally got going, everything went perfectly. We really packed a lot into those 2 weeks at the resort. We went on some historical walking tours, also tried our hand at windsurfing and scuba diving, which was absolutely brilliant. But honestly, most of our time was just spent lounging on the beach or by the pool, just taking in the atmosphere. There was one minor hiccup when we missed our spa appointment. It was a mix-up with the booking times, but the staff were so accommodating and rescheduled us straight away. So overall, it was a really lovely holiday. It was just what we needed. So we always give you a side-by-side view of English from the British and American sides. The biggest difference you'll hear in this episode is in the UK, we call it a holiday, and in the US,
we call it a vacation. We do have the word holiday in America, but the holiday is a single day, like Christmas Day is a holiday, meaning that we have off work and our vacation is the time that we spend around that holiday. So if I take a week off of work, even if it's not on a holiday weekend or on a holiday, it's my vacation. Whereas, Mark, what would you say for like Christmas Day? Is that also considered a holiday?
Yes, it's the same word. If I go to another country to relax, that's a holiday. And Christmas is a public holiday. So
Got it.
Businesses will close, offices will be closed. People don't go to work on holidays. Easter's a holiday. Christmas is a big holiday. And yeah, I go on holiday to a nice sunny country too.
So
So
would
it's
you
the same
say
word.
that Christmas is a holiday and you go on holiday, right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
Christmas
I
is
would
a
say
holiday.
Christmas Day is a holiday. And I would say we go on vacation. So that's really the only change there is I change it from vacation and you say holiday. Cool. So if we get
Okay.
started, I'm going to just use the British phrase just to ask you, how was your holiday?
Mm. My recent trip was absolute heaven. So, we've already talked about holiday, vacation. I'm adding a third word, and sometimes students have this question trip. My recent trip. So, we're talking about going to another place to relax and have fun. So, in this context, a trip, a vacation, and a holiday are the same things. So, I went on a trip to Spain. I went on holiday to Spain. I went on vacation to Spain. All mean the same thing. Um, the the time when trip means something different is because vacation and holiday are only for relaxing and having fun, but a trip can be a reason to travel for many different things. Like I took a trip to Spain for a conference. That's a business trip. So you're not relaxing or having fun. That
Yeah, I
trip
wouldn't
is
call
for
it
business.
a business vacation. Yeah, that doesn't really
Yeah.
sound very fun.
There's no thing. Yeah, no such thing. So I went on a research trip. Like, again, that's for work, that's for studying. It can even be a shorter thing. Like, I went on a shopping trip.
Yeah.
The reason I went was to go shopping. So, trip can be the reason for traveling. And it might be work, it might not be relaxing and fun. So, trip is a very flexible word. In this case, my trip was heaven means my vacation. So, in this sense, in this context, I'm using it here. How was it? Yeah, absolute heaven. Heaven, you can imagine, was fantastic, perfect. It was amazing. When you imagine heaven, you imagine a place that's very relaxing. I don't want to leave. I have no problems with food, thirst, or boredom. It was just perfect. It was absolute heaven. So, how about you? How was your vacation?
Where to begin? It was so much fun. I wish I was still there. So, where to begin? Where to begin? So we did all these things. Where to start? Where to start? So I like this phrase. It's kind of a filler phrase. We're kind of collecting our thoughts. Oh my gosh. Well, we did so much stuff. We did so many things. Where do I begin? So we could say where to begin or where to start. Where do I begin? Where do I start? This is kind of a fun way to say, like, okay, get ready. I've got a list of things I want to tell you, but I need to think of the place to start. Where can I start my story? So I think that's a good filler phrase, especially if you're kind of collecting your thoughts. It's where to begin. Oh, yeah. So something like that. Now, it was so much fun. That's a pretty standard response. How was your vacation? It was so much fun. How was your holiday? It was heaven. Okay, so how was your vacation? It was so much fun. I wish I was still there. I wish I was still there. Now, if I wish something, then it's something, that is obviously not happening, right? So I really wish I was still there. Now, of course, we're going to break a couple of grammar rules because commonly spoken English breaks grammar rules all the time. There's always exceptions to rules. So if you learned in school, I wish I were still there, that is absolutely correct. However, most people would say, I wish I was. I wish I was still there. There are famous songs listened to millions of times. I wish I was. I wish I was. So absolutely, grammar rule, stick to the grammar rule if you really enjoy it. However, don't worry if people break grammar rules. It is very common in spoken English. So, I wish I was still there means I want to be at the hotel right now. I want to be on vacation right now. I wish I was not at work. I wish I was still there. All right, so Mark, how was the start of your holiday?
That said, we got off to a bit of a rough start at the airport. We had to sit on the runway for a bit because of some traffic. So, the previous sentence was, my recent trip was absolute heaven. So, fantastic, great. The next sentence is a contrast to that. So, I used a contrasting phrase, that said. That said, we got off to a bit of a rough start. So, that said is like however or but, and it means in the complete contrast or the complete opposite to what I just said earlier. This is probably the strongest contrast. In my opinion, it is the total opposite. So if you said something like, oh yeah, the food was incredible. That said, it did give me food poisoning. So that's a massive contrast.
Yeah.
That said is the only phrase strong enough to connect those ideas. Or I might say, yeah, the weather in Mexico was great. That said, there was a hurricane while we were there. So again, there's a huge difference between what I said before and next. So if you have a really strong contrast, two total opposites, you can connect them with that said. There's also a longer version, that being said, but I used the two words, that said. So the holiday, the trip was heaven. That said, we got off to a bit of a rough start at the airport. Mm-hmm. Rough here means a bad start or a tricky start, a rough start. You'll often hear this connected with the verb, we got off to a rough start, or we got off to a tricky start. In the opposite, we got off to a great start. So it was a rough start because we had to sit on the runway because of some traffic. Usually, we mention traffic when we're talking about lots of cars, but traffic can also be in the sky with planes, and traffic can also be the planes on the runway. So if there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of planes in the sky, and it's busy and it slows things down. And we were sitting on the runway, not literally on the tarmac. We were on the plane, but we had to sit on the runway and wait inside the plane before we could take off. So there was a bit of a rough start at the beginning. How about yourself? How was the start of your vacation?
Now, my trip did start with a bit of drama at the airport. Our flight was delayed due to some unexpected maintenance issues. I don't even know. So, just like Mark, we started really well, okay? Oh, where to begin? It was so much fun. I wish I was still there. Now, I'm using this as a filler word. Now that I said that, oh, yeah, actually, there was a problem.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, now that I actually, now that I'm thinking of it, now that I've chosen where to start, I'm thinking, oh yeah, we did start with a bit of drama. Now, why did I say, oh, it did start, instead of just saying it started with a bit of drama? Well, I'm using the word did as a bit of emphasis because I had so much fun. Where to begin? Oh my gosh, this was amazing. Oh, now it did start with a bit of drama. Just like Mark when he said, that said, ooh, it did start with a bit of drama. I'm saying something that's the opposite. Ooh, we did have a delay. Ooh, we did start with a bit of drama. That's the opposite of what I said before. So I want to kind of emphasize we did or we didn't. That gives it a little bit more emphasis so you can hear, oh yeah, we did start. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, we did start with a bit of drama. So that's kind of sometimes why we separate the word. Instead of saying started, we did start. Now, a bit of drama. So the word drama is kind of overused a little bit. You might like watching TV shows that are dramas. Drama is a word we use when there's something interesting or problematic going on. A bit of drama means that there's something going on that's, kind of problematic. And in this case, the problem was we had our flight. Our flight was delayed due to some unexpected maintenance issues. If something is delayed, it's making someone late. Okay, so the plane was delayed. Something, which was a maintenance issue, caused the plane to take off later than expected due to, because of, unexpected maintenance issues. This happens all the time nowadays. I feel like we're always delayed, and it's usually because of unexpected maintenance issues. Maintenance is the upkeep of the plane. They fill it with the gasoline or whatever fuel they need. They clean the windows, they clean the inside, they check all the tires, make sure everything's working okay. This is maintenance. It's daily, weekly, monthly upkeep of the airplane. But if you have some unexpected issues, these are surprises. These are surprise problems. So it might have an issue with the engine, or it might have an issue with a piece of equipment on the plane. And that can be a little scary, especially when you're sitting on the plane thinking, unexpected maintenance issues. Oh my gosh, is the plane going to crash or something? What's happening?
I don't know if it's a good one or a bad one, because like maintenance sounds like, okay, good. They're keeping the plane in good condition. Okay, that's good. But then maintenance always is like, why does it need maintenance? Is something wrong?
Yeah,
So
and unexpected issues. So that was the drama. Okay, that was the drama. First, we were all happy, excited. We're getting on the plane. We're good to go. And then the drama. Yes, we're having some unexpected maintenance issues. Oh, okay. Wait, is that really bad? Is that? And then we started to panic a little bit. So that's the drama. That's the drama. Something kind of crazy is happening. It's not just happy and fun. That's the little bit of drama. So, Mark, for you also had a very similar issue, a bit of a rough start. Did everything turn out okay?
Once we finally got going, everything went perfectly. So yes, the answer is yes, everything turned out okay. Once we finally got going, everything went perfectly. Got going is another way to say started or began. So we began our holiday, we got going on our holiday. You might hear phrases like, come on, let's get going, is let's start, let's begin, let's get going. Or if you're telling a story in the past, we got going at 6 o'clock, means we started at 6 o'clock. So on the plane, we got going, that means we started our flight, we took off. And then everything went perfectly. I want to talk about the verb went here, because go can be used when you describe something, especially an experience or a moment in a good or a bad way. You can ask a question, how was it? How was your trip? How was your holiday? And you can also ask, how did it go? How did it go? Your vacation, how did it go? Your flight, how did it go? And I'll especially use that question if I know your experience could go really well or could go kind of badly. Like if it's a big meeting, for example, a big meeting can go really well and everyone's happy, or it can be a difficult meeting and the boss doesn't like what you have to say. So after your meeting, if I want to know, I'd say, how did it go? Or if you had a job interview can go really well or can be a disaster. So how did it go? Or a date can go really well or really badly. So the answer to how did it go is it went. The date went. The meeting went. The interview went. It went great. Or it went terribly. Or it went smoothly. So I'm using that phrase here. Once we finally got going, everything went perfectly. Everything was perfect. So if you want to describe your vacation or describe an experience in a short way, yeah, it went, and then an adverb. It went perfectly. It went smoothly. It went perfectly. So did mine. How about yourself? Did everything turn out okay after those maintenance issues?
Yeah, it turned out fine. Once we finally took off, it was smooth sailing from there. Once we finally took off. Okay, so once we finally took off, that's at the moment when we finally left the airport, when our plane finally left the airport. Once we finally took off, at that moment when we were no longer delayed, we're heading to our vacation destination. Once we finally took off, it was smooth sailing. Now, I know we're in an airplane and a sailboat is in the water, but a phrase that we use when things go nice and easily, just like Mark said, go easily, they went easily. It was smooth sailing. It was smooth sailing. That means that after that, no more problems. We were fine. It was smooth sailing after that. Just a little bit of a problem, a little bit of drama at the airport. Flight was delayed, but after that, it was smooth sailing. No more problems.
Can you only use that phrase while traveling, or can you use that in other places?
I guess we could probably say if it was smooth sailing after that, something was easy to do. So, I mean, I don't know if I want to say this at work because I don't want to look like I'm being lazy, but I think if the project was going to be a little difficult at the beginning and it's smooth sailing after that, then you'll just have to do the normal amount of work. Not an easy amount of work, but it's not going to be as difficult as the beginning. So I would say after the beginning of the project, when it's really difficult, after that, it's smooth sailing. In other words, after that, you won't be going through all these difficulties anymore. It's smooth sailing after that. Okay, so now that we've taken off, you've landed at your destination, what did you get up to on your trip?
We really packed in a lot in those 2 weeks at the resort. We went on some historical walking tours, also tried our hand at windsurfing and scuba diving. So we had a busy 2 weeks. We packed a lot in. I'm using the verb here in the past tense, packed. So we packed a lot. We had 2 weeks of time and we filled up that time with lots and lots of activities and things to do. Every day was busy. We did different activities, so we really packed it in. We did lots of things. We did an historical walking tour, so walking around and seeing some historic buildings or old buildings. And then we also tried our hand at windsurfing and scuba diving. So this is a slightly longer phrase. Tried. I can say I tried windsurfing and scuba diving. And that means I did it for the first time. It was new for me, so I tried it. There is a longer expression. I tried my hand at something. And I'm using that phrase here because I'm trying it for the first time. I had never done windsurfing before. I had never been scuba diving before this trip. So I tried my hand at it, maybe for the first time. A resort maybe offered a class. So I decided to try my hand at it and see if I was good at it, bad at it, if I enjoyed it or not. I tried my hand at a new activity. Do people say that phrase in the States?
Yeah, I would say not as often probably as you guys do. But yeah, if you want to try your hand at something, then you're trying it for the first time. You're kind of giving it a go. Want to give it a go? Want to try your hand at something new? Yeah, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go.
Gave windsurfing a go. Gave scuba diving a go.
Yeah, a go. And that's 2 words. G-O. Go. A go. Not like 10 years ago. We gave it a go.
Nice. Okay, how about you? What did you get up to on your trip?
I had a quick question because I heard you say, how would you say you did blank blank walking tour? So you said
we went on
an historical.
Oh, yeah, I did do that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. So I put the article in there, A-N,
Yeah.
historical walking tour.
I hear
Yeah,
this a lot in British English, an
right.
historical moment. And I think it's left over from the French because I think you guys probably are matching up with the French and kind of making that H very silent, just like with, I mean, that's the opposite of herbs, but I
Yeah,
would
right.
say a historical walking tour. And I heard you very nicely say an historical.
I think, yes, I think there's two reasons for that. One, it's, yeah, like you said, the H sound is not very strong. It's almost like historical. I. And I is a vowel. So an interesting, an exciting, an historical trip. So I also think it's faster and easier for me to say an historical because I think the last letter is A-N. So I can go from historical, faster than a
Well,
historical.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's
Right?
just that
So,
in American English, you have to say the H because we're going to say
right.
a history class. But an historical moment, I definitely hear that more in British English than American English. Yeah. So you
Right.
guys are
Yeah.
skipping that H there.
Right. I think we're taking the easier route. It feels like a lot
Yeah.
of effort to say a historical, a
And
history
I would
lesson.
say
Yeah,
a
that's it.
like yeah, if you're going to take a historical walking tour, I almost say take a historic because we have to make a lot of
Oh,
effort
yeah.
there to say it. So you guys are cheating.
First of all, I'm still offended you compared us to France. So I'm still over that.
Yes, I know. You and your courgettes and your aubergines. Yes, no French at all in British English, sure.
So not a single word. Okay.
So,
But yeah, what did you get up to on your trip?
so we had a packed itinerary, but the highlight was definitely the guided city tour. Now, just like Mark, we really packed a lot into those 2 weeks. Now, he used it as a verb, and I'm using mine as an adjective. We had a packed itinerary. Itinerary. What a long word. If you have trouble saying this, we could probably say a packed schedule, and that would be perfectly fine. Would you pronounce it itinerary?
Yes, itinerary.
I almost say it like
Itinerary.
I-10, itinerary. I almost say it like the T-E-N instead of a T-I-N, itinerary.
Right, itinerary. Itinerary. It's
Yeah.
a difficult double R. Rary.
If you really, an itinerary is usually for all the activities that you're doing on a trip, or on a trip, whether it's vacation, a business trip, something like that. But in reality, it's your schedule. If itinerary is hard to say, go ahead and just say schedule. It's perfectly acceptable. And you could read the word itinerary and just say, what's on the schedule? What's on the itinerary? Or what's on the schedule. It's easy enough. It's okay. We don't have to say all the right words at the same time. So we had a packed itinerary, but the highlight was definitely the guided city tour. I like this phrase because it kind of the highlight is something that was really special, or maybe it was really unique or really interesting on your trip. So, the highlight was definitely this. Oh, the highlight was the food tour. The highlight was this great restaurant. The highlight was the service at the hotel. So this we can kind of talk about our favorite part. My favorite part of the tour was this, or my favorite part of the trip was this. The highlight was definitely the guided city tour. Now, we talked a little bit about the guided city tour in our last episode when we were planning our trip. I actually did go on the guided city tour, and it was definitely the highlight of our entire vacation. So I'm really glad that I booked it. Now, speaking of all these activities that we're doing, did you enjoy those activities that you tried your hand at?
Yes, I did. I tried my hand at windsurfing and scuba diving. which were absolutely brilliant. Just one
Very
word
British.
I want to highlight. Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant means amazing, fantastic, excellent. But you're more likely to hear this adjective in the UK. I think people use brilliant a lot. I've even heard people use it on the phone. Like if you're having a good conversation, you're like, okay, 3 p.m. tomorrow, brilliant.
Brilliant.
Bye-bye. Yeah. So we use it a lot more often than in the US. Brilliant fun, a brilliant performance. If you watch any English football, then you'll definitely hear the commentators say a brilliant goal, a brilliant performance. We use it a lot and we throw it around a lot, very generously. What word would you use instead in the States?
Awesome. That is very American.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Fantastic. Great. We use all of those words, but brilliant, we would probably only use if someone had a very smart or intelligent idea. Oh my gosh, that is brilliant. Yes, fantastic. That is the smartest thing I've ever heard. That is a great idea. Brilliant. Brilliant idea.
Brilliant. A brilliant scientist. Like a
Yes.
genius scientist.
Yeah. And, if I thought an idea was just a great idea, I would say, wow, that is a genius idea. That is a brilliant idea. I would use it in that, but I wouldn't use it, say, like for food or, oh, like that meal was brilliant. Or, okay, yes, I'll meet you at 3. Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We throw it around all the time.
Yeah. No,
Brilliant.
it's a great British word for sure.
Okay. How about yourself? Did you enjoy the activities that you did?
Yeah, the local guide was amazing and really brought the city's history to life. So, if we're talking about a local is a person that lives in the city that you're visiting. I'm a tourist. They are a local. Okay, so the locals are the people that live there. A local pub, a local restaurant, a local cafe. Those are kind of smaller restaurants, smaller cafes that are owned by somebody in the community. So this local guide really brought the city's history to life. Now, sometimes history from a textbook can be a little bit boring. So with some imagination, some creativity, and just a very excited person, some people can really bring history to life and make it much more interesting and feel like you're really a part of the history. So to go out on this local city tour with this local guide who was so knowledgeable and brilliant that we just had such a good time. I think if we had read about it in a book or, read about it in a blog post on the internet, we just wouldn't have had the same experience. So they really brought the city's history to life, which was really nice.
Yeah, good guide can change everything wherever you go.
It's true.
Okay, well, I've already shared all of my activities. The tour, the paddle, the windsurfing, and the scuba diving. You did some other activities. What were they? What did you do after the tour?
So we also tried paddleboarding for the first time, which was a blast. Now, I can't remember, Mark, what is windsurfing?
Oh, windsurfing is a water sport. You're on the water and you're holding on to a big sail, and the wind pushes you along the water. So you hold on to the the sail.
Are you kind of on are you on a board, or are you on kind of like a canoe or a boat?
You're on a board.
On a board, okay.
Like a surfboard, and then you hold up a sail vertically.
Okay.
And then the wind hits the sail and pushes you forward, and you surf with the wind. So windsurfing.
So we also tried paddleboarding for the first time, which was a blast. Now, I think that paddleboarding is kind of similar. It's not it's kind of like a very big surfboard, and you are just standing up on it. It sounds a little boring, but it was actually really fun because you are just on top of the water. There's no waves. So you have a paddle, and you basically are paddling yourself around while you stand or kneel on this big paddleboard. So actually, that was really fun. So let me see my sentence one more time. We also tried paddleboarding for the first time. Now, Mark didn't have to mention that it was his first time because he said he tried his hand at doing something. That we know from that phrase means for the first time. So if you want to try something for the first time, have a go at something, or try your hand at something, then definitely that would mean doing it for the very first time. And then I have a fun phrase. We also tried paddleboarding for the first time, which was a blast. Which is talking about paddleboarding. Paddleboarding was a blast. I really like this phrase because it means that we had a lot of fun. I think of like an amusement park or going to Disney World is a blast. You're just having fun all day. You know, you're eating what you want. You're running around. You're doing activities. It's always a blast. So paddleboarding was a blast. It was really fun and exciting.
It's a very American phrase for me.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't say it. It just sounds weird. Have a blast. Even in the accent, just doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It just sounds strange.
A blast.
A blast. Yes, we had a blast.
Definitely doesn't sound as fun. Oh man, it was a blast. And you know, we use it for like an explosion, a blast. So definitely, like if you blasted something to bits, it would be an explosion. So an explosion of fun. What a blast.
Yes. One thing I wanted to point out as well.
Yeah.
I said we did windsurfing and scuba diving, which was absolutely brilliant. You said which was a blast. And that relative clause, which, we use that word before we give our opinion. So I thought it was brilliant. So we did these sports, which were brilliant. You tried paddleboarding, which was a blast, or which was good fun. It's a case where I wouldn't use that. I use which. It's that kind of phrase before you give your opinion. You always use which for an activity.
I've never really thought about that before. That's an interesting point. So you're saying if I want to give my opinion, you know, that new restaurant we tried, which was really good, by the way,
yes.
is around the corner.
We went to the beach, which was really nice. We had nice weather, which was really cool and pleasant. We went on a tour, which was really interesting. So if you want to quickly add your opinion at the end, which is the word to do it.
I think if I say, oh, that new restaurant, which was really good, by the way, is just over there. So yeah, that's a good point, because if I want to just quickly add in a little bit of information, like you said, that little bit of an opinion there, then I can just add that, which was amazing, by the way, which we had a blast at, by the way. So interesting. I haven't thought about that before. All right, so let's see. Another one. What else did you do, Mark?
Yes, so I did all these water sports. Sorry, the windsurfing and the scuba diving. But honestly, most of our time was just spent lounging on the beach or by the pool, just taking in the atmosphere. The first word here is lounging, or to lounge. I'm using a verb. You probably already know the lounge in your house. It's also called the living room. And the lounge is a place where you relax. The TV is probably in the lounge. There's a nice comfy sofa in the lounge. So to lounge is to relax.
Do you use lounge for a living room?
Yeah, right. It's in the lounge.
Okay.
Or let's have dinner in the lounge. Or I went into the lounge and watched TV. Lounge or living room.
I think we'd have a lounge area in like an apartment building. So you might have a shared area. So this is the lounge. We've got the TV, the sofas, kind of a work desk area over here for relaxing. So this would be, an area so that you can lounge. But I don't think I would probably use that unless we had a second living room. where you could just sit back and relax in a lounge. But yeah, that's interesting that you would also call the living room a lounge.
Yeah. It could be a bit old-fashioned, but yeah, I've definitely said it as a kid and heard it. But yeah, so it's a place where I relax. So on holiday, I want to relax. So if I sit down and do nothing, I lounge by the pool, or I lounged on the beach. So I sat there, maybe I just slept, maybe I read a book, maybe I just drank some cocktails or coffee and enjoyed the view. Also, if you go to a beach and you see those long white beds or chairs, those are called sun loungers. So it's
They lean all the way back.
right. Yeah, it's designed for relaxing. So when you're relaxing, you are lounging, especially on vacation or on holiday. And yeah, so I lounged there and I was taking in the atmosphere. Taking in is to really enjoy and feel and experience the nice, calm atmosphere. The atmosphere is the one of the restaurant, the resort that I'm staying in. So a holiday resort should have a relaxing, calm, tranquil atmosphere. No loud music, no cars, no traffic, just the wind, the sea, the waves. That is the atmosphere that I'm referring to. So I just lounge by the pool, taking in the atmosphere. Really nice and lazy. So how about yourself? What else did you do?
Very similarly, most days were spent lounging by the beach, just soaking up the sun. So it's an interesting way that we've set up this sentence. Mark says most of our time was spent lounging. And I mention most of my days were spent lounging. Now, I'm the one doing the lounging, but we are spending our days. Most days were spent. My time was spent doing something. Okay, so most days were spent lounging by the beach, soaking up the sun. Now, we do this a lot in English, and I realized after learning other languages that we talk about our time and our day as if those are the things that are doing the actions. You know, how was your day? How was your week? My day was good. My day was spent doing this. My week was spent doing that. We actually talk about this a lot in English. How was your day? My day was good, right? How did your day go? My day went well. So most days on my vacation were spent lounging by the beach, soaking up the sun. Mark already talked a bit about lounging, laying back, laying out, and soaking up the sun. Now, a lot of people like to go on vacation and want to soak up the sun. Now, that either means to just enjoy the warmth. When you soak up something, you think of a sponge, okay? A sponge would soak up the water. And if you're soaking up the sun, you're really taking in the warmth. Maybe if you are light skinned, then your skin is getting darker. Then I would definitely say that we enjoyed soaking up the sun. And don't forget your hat and sunscreen, because we don't need to get sunburned on our while we're soaking up the sun, enjoying our time on the beach. So let's continue on. Finally, did you run into any other problems on your little vacation?
There was one minor hiccup when we missed our spa appointment. I mixed up with the booking times, but the staff was so accommodating and rescheduled us straight away. So overall, it was a really lovely holiday, and it was just what we needed. So the problem was only a small problem, and the word we used was one minor hiccup. A hiccup. Hiccup is the thing where you... I don't know how to describe a hiccup. You get hiccups and you can't stop breathing or exhaling.
I think it's when you have some air in your throat and it's causing your throat to kind of gasp for air. So
yeah,
and you can't control it. It's uncontrollable. And so you have to try to scare yourself to stop having the hiccups, or you have
hold your
to
breath.
hold your breath, and hopefully you can't control them, so you hope that the hiccups stop.
Right. Yeah. So hiccup is also used to describe a problem, especially if it's a small problem. Like a hiccup, if I have hiccups, I don't need to take the day off work. I can still go to work with hiccups. And likewise, I can still enjoy my vacation with a small hiccup. So it's a small problem. It's a very first world problem. I missed my spa appointment. I had a massage booked, and we came at the wrong time. So it was a mix-up. A mix-up is another way to describe a small problem. A mix-up is often some confusion or mistake, especially when it's about a time, a booking, or a place. So
I think
a
sometimes a miscommunication. I thought you said
Right.
this and you actually said this. That's a mix up.
Right.
Just a little mix up.
Yeah.
And I think it's also, if you say that it's a mix up, I think it's no one's fault. So if you say
Yes.
there was a miscommunication, feels a little bit more serious. Oh, there's just a mix up. Maybe I was wrong, maybe they were wrong. We don't really know. So just a mix up.
Yeah, right. It's a very neutral, diplomatic way to describe a problem. So a mix-up in a restaurant would be, oh, we arrived at the wrong time, or the table is the wrong size. A mix-up at the hotel is maybe we wanted room 1, and they gave us the key for room 2. Like, that's a little mix-up. So not a big problem. And luckily, the staff were very accommodating. They were so accommodating. Accommodating is to really change things and help your guests as much as you can. So I was the guest on my holiday. The staff changed things for me. The staff changed things to help me. So accommodating staff, if I wanted new towels or more towels, sure, they would give them to me. Or if I wanted to change the appointment time, sure, no problem, they'd change it. If I wanted to stay an extra day, sure, no problem. If they're accommodating, they're changing things and adapting to make you more comfortable or happier. So
Yeah, I think of
perfect
being
stuff.
flexible, being very easygoing, but above all, giving the guest what they want. Very accommodating. You want more towels?
Yes.
Here's more towels. You want more of this? Sure, go ahead. That is very accommodating.
Yeah. So that was the only hiccup. We missed a spa appointment, but it wasn't a problem. Did you run into any other issues?
Actually, I ended up using the same phrase as well. We did have a small hiccup with our hotel room. The AC wasn't working, but they sorted that out pretty quickly, and the rest of the stay was perfect. So Mark talked a bit about a small hiccup, small issue, or a problem. The AC wasn't working. The AC is your air conditioning. There's really no reason to say air conditioning. You can call it the AC. Say the letters A and C, the AC. But they sorted that out pretty quickly. If you sort something out, you fix a problem. They sorted the AC out. They sorted out the AC. They sorted the problem out. They sorted that out pretty quickly. And the rest of the stay, or the time after that hiccup, after that problem, was perfect. Wow, amazing.
Lovely.
Yes.
Another marathon episode, maybe the longest one we've done yet, but I hope it was full of useful phrases and vacations. It's a great topic. There's so much to talk about. So yeah, please in the comments, have you just come back from vacation? Have you had a vacation that was really memorable or really nice before? Please let us know. Write some sentences in the comments. See if you can use any of the phrases that we discussed today. And of course, members will be able to download the PDF transcript of this already and see every word, every example to help your studies even more.
And as we're coming to the end of season 1, we have one more episode until we round out at 20 episodes for this season. We're also working on a giant study pack for you guys. We want you to be able to take your studying to the next level. We will have worksheets, transcripts, MP3s, video clips, extra speaking practice, listening practice. It's all going to be together in our study pack. So stay tuned for the end of our season. And then also we'll let you know about all the news regarding our study pack. So we will see you very soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.